Hit him again. He's still alive.
Times karma came for awful people. Karma has no menu. You get what you deserve. Welcome back to our channel, and for today's video, we will talk about the times karma came for awful people. But before we hop into the details, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and share this video with your friends and family. Deer hunting. Hunting's a controversial topic, but there's no denying that a deer does not enjoy getting shot with a deadly arrow. In this case from 2015, the deadly projectile was a crossbow bolt, which injured the deer and caused it to flee. When the Wisconsin hunter responsible tried to track the deer down to finish the job,
Hit him again. He's still alive.
it leapt out of the thick brush and chased him down, headbutting him in the leg and leaving him in hospital. While the fate of the deer after it took its revenge is unknown, it must have felt some satisfaction after having slightly rebalanced the scales of justice. Lion poaching. Karma has been dealing out justice since the dawn of time, but only recently some of these moments have been caught on cameras. For instance, animals have been known to deliver their own version of justice for fallen comrades, which in many cases is much more than just a simple headbutt. In 2018, a group of poachers met a grizzly end while hunting lions in the Sibuya Game Reserve in South Africa. As per law, poaching is very illegal within the area, but the legal system isn't very strict about implementing the rules and administering punishment. On a Monday morning, when the park's anti-poaching dogs drew their handlers' attention to a section of the park that homed a pride of lions, they expected to see and catch poachers red-handed in the crime. But to their surprise, they found a mismatch of shoes, gloves, hunting rifles, axes, and, most importantly, a skull and a piece of pelvis. It was clear that the hunters had been overwhelmed and completely devoured by the lions. Not every poacher gets their punishment, but these South Africans got the lion's share. A kick of instant karma. Thanks to the internet, we can all experience the satisfaction of seeing infuriatingly inconsiderate people receive some instant justice. In a viral video, a woman clearly thinks her conversation with a friend is more important than allowing the train to leave the station on time. Train delays are annoying enough, let alone when they're caused by selfish individuals. With a swift kick, pun intended, the situation was resolved. She was kicked off the train by another passenger, and to not much surprise, it pleased the other passengers. Free ice cream. When Ice Cream Man and Reddit user PerthChippies9 gave a free ice cream to a girl whose mother couldn't afford one, he never expected it would cause a problem. But a moment later, he was approached by a woman who demanded 3 free ice creams for her and her kids. Understandably, PerthChippies denied her request, explaining that his act of generosity was a one-time thing. Indeed, it would be considerably unprofitable if he did it for everyone. The woman made a big fuss of the whole situation and started bringing the recipient of the free ice cream's race into the equation. PerthChippies had enough, and he began handing out free ice creams to several other families who were sitting on the grass nearby. The woman stormed off, infuriated. PerthChippies, on the other hand, was pretty happy about the petty dose of instant karma he self-administered. Turtle and lollipop. There's nothing worse than people who bother animals that clearly want to be left alone. Luckily, on occasion, these type of people come into contact with animals that can stand up for themselves. Like the one time an overly generous boy was forcefully insistent on giving a wild snapping turtle a lick of his lollipop. The kid learns it the hard way that aggravating a living being with a beak this sharp is not a smart move when the turtle agrees to not only chomp on the lollipop, but also on one of his fingers. The turtle clearly knew who the real sucker was. Don't mess with a cowboy. An armed robber who was apparently new to the job was videotaped. He wore no facial cover, nor did he change out of his regular clothes, and wore a casual hoodie and cap. He threatened the cashier and a mustachioed bystander with his handgun, and things seemed to be going fairly well for him until the guy took off his glasses. Things take a turn for the unexpected when an oblivious customer approaches the counter with her items. The robber gets startled and messes up. Little does he know, the cowboy is waiting for him to slip up. As soon as the robber turns around, the cowboy intervenes. This unexpected act of bravery has been rarely caught on camera and are an example of right person, right place, right time. After some scuffling, a store worker apprehended the robber with a neat throat takedown. Theft gone wrong. If you're dumb enough to commit theft, it's usually a good idea to carry out your crimes as far away from your home as possible. Unfortunately, a group of careless Californian criminals who were short of good theft ideas decided to break into a local business mere meters away from the trailer they were living in. They were caught on CCTV while cutting the fence, damaging and pooping in a boat parked in the driveway, and using a flare to melt the lock on a storage container. The flare caused the trailer to catch fire, and eventually the whole scene of crime was engulfed in a roaring blaze, which may have been due to an unintended meth lab in the trailer. This only added to the dumbness of the thieves who didn't plan better. Either way, by the time the thieves realized, it was too late. The trailer exploded, forcing them to flee the scene. Instant karma had delivered a burn they wouldn't forget. Peeing in public. A weak-bladdered, disrespectful individual gained Twitter attention for peeing outside a busy train station in broad daylight, as dozens of commuters passed by. In July 2019, the British Transport Police not only banned him from travel, they also made him mop up his mess, all while commuters who otherwise may have ended up with wet, smelly footwear looked on in joy and confusion. Karma served by cops. There's nothing more rage-inducing than a reckless driver who feels like they have the right to break the rules at their own convenience, especially when they put others in danger in the process. Luckily, from time to time, karma has our backs. An impatient driver decided that the driving lanes weren't up to his standards and opted to switch to the parking lane instead. While doing so, he was seen raising his middle finger. Fast forward into the short clip, he gets held at a set of lights. The cameraman has the great pleasure of seeing red and blue lights appear in the reflection of the car in front. Like we all would, the cameraman chuckles as he passes the reckless driver, who now has a cop car behind him. Pepper spraying a bear. Traveling alone in bear territory is always a recipe for disaster. Bears are curious and at times aggressive when they notice intruders on their land, and a curious bear is always going to be a little peeved if you pepper spray him in the face. But for Mary Maylee, a half-hearted squirt of pepper spray wasn't enough to ward off a black bear that was sniffing around her cabin deep in the wilds of Alaska. Mary was audibly surprised to encounter the bear during hibernation season. Luckily, it didn't take its revenge by eating her, but instead chose to destroy Mary's only means of escape, her kayak. Despite Mary's pleas, the bear seemed to take great pleasure in ripping the boat apart. Mary was forced to swim in the ice-cold water to a nearby anchored yacht for help. The bear must have laughed with joy and praised himself for a case of karma well done. Cheating should never be an option. Sports get pretty heated time to time, but it doesn't justify cheating. It definitely doesn't justify pushing a fellow cyclist off their bike during a race. The karma here is twofold. The aggressive cyclist initially falls off his bike before a motley crew of outraged fans even step in. They pick him up and throw him into the water. It was a long fall, and well, let's say that justice was truly served. If you liked this video, then make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more interesting videos in the future. Also, hit the bell icon to stay up to date and be the first one to watch our latest videos.